Very good morning, students. This is biology session. In biology, we have totally 12 units. We are going to discuss the very first chapter in biology, plant anatomy and plant physiology. Before enter into the content matter, we must know about biology and its importance. What is biology? Biology is a natural science concerned with the study of life and living organism and the evolution of life. Living things include animals, plants, fungi, and microorganisms. Aristotle is the father of biology. So, what is biology? It is the study of living things. It encompasses the cellular basis of living things, the energy metabolism that underlies the activities of life, and the genetic basis for inheritance in organism. Biology is life. The word biology is derived from two Greek words, bios and logos. Bios meaning life, logos meaning study. So the word biology is defined as the science of life and living organisms. An organism is a living entity consisting of one cell or several cells. So, what are the different branches of biology? Ecology, evolution, genetics, microbiology, molecular biology, physiology, anatomy, cytology, taxonomy. These are all the important branches of biology. So there are three main branches in biology: botany, zoology, and microbiology. So zoology, which deals with the study of different aspects of animals, microbiology, which deals with the study of different aspects of microorganism. So one important branch of biology is botany. What is botany? It is the study of different aspects of plants. So botany, which deals with the study of different aspects of plants. Regarding botany, we are going to discuss one chapter, plant anatomy and plant physiology. What is plant physiology? Plant physiology is a branch of botany. It is the study of how organs work and organ system functions. So this is only known as plant physiology. Next, plant anatomy. This is another branch of botany. So anatomy is the study of the internal structure of plants. Plant anatomy deals with the study of the internal structure of plants. So plant anatomy and plant physiology, this is the very first chapter in biology. Regarding this chapter, we are going to discuss what is plant anatomy, what are called tissues, tissue system, then organs of the plant, dicot and monocot root structure, dicot and monocot stem structure, anatomy of dicot and monocot leaf. Regarding plant physiology, we are going to discuss two important functions of plants: photosynthesis and respiration. Let me pass on the definition of anatomy. So what is anatomy? It is the study of internal structure of organs and organ system in plants as well as animals. So anatomy, it is derived from two Greek words, ana, meaning as under, tamnin, meaning to cut. So ana as under, tamnin to cut. So anatomy is defined as to study the internal structure and organization of plant, especially of their parts, by means of dissection and microscopic examination. So what is dissection? Dissection is a process of separating plant parts into pieces. So it is a process of separating plant parts such as root, stem, leaf, etc. into pieces. Dissection, it is derived from two words, dissection. Dis means apart, section to cut. So these two come together to form the definition of dissection, to cut apart. So what is dissection? It is a process of separating plant parts into pieces. Why it is important? Dissection helps the students to learn about the internal structure of organism. It helps students learn how the tissues and organs are interrelated. So after dissection, the dissected section should be stained, mounted on a slide, and observed under microscope. So what is plant anatomy? Anatomy derived from two Greek words, ana as under, tamnin to cut, to study the internal structure and organization of plants, especially of their parts, by means of dissection and microscopic examination. So this is the definition of anatomy. The first account of internal structure of plants was published by English physician Nehemiah Grew. He is known as father of anatomy. So father of plant anatomy, Nehemiah Grew. Next, let me pass on to the level of organization. Plants exhibit varying degrees of organization. So what are the different levels of cellular organization? Atoms. Atoms organized into molecules, molecules into organelle, organelle into cell, cell grouped to form tissue, tissues grouped to form an organ, organ grouped to form organ system, organ system into an organism. So these are all the levels of organization of a plant. So cell is a basic unit of all the living organism. Cell group to form tissue, tissue group to form organ, organ group to form organ system, and organ system group to form an organism. So next, cell. What is a cell? Cell is the structural and functional unit of all the living organism. Cell is a basic unit of all the living organism. Next level of organization, tissue. So what do you mean by tissue? Group of cells to form tissue. So what is the definition of tissue? Tissue is a group of cells having similar or dissimilar origin, structure, and perform a common function. So tissue is nothing but a group of cells having similar or dissimilar origin, structure, but perform a common function. So this is only called as a tissue. Plant tissues are broadly classified into two types: meristematic tissues and permanent tissues, based on the ability to divide. So plant tissues are broadly classified into two types: meristematic tissue, permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue divide throughout life. Permanent tissue lost ability to divide. So meristematic tissue. What is meristematic tissue? Meristose, divisible. So meristematic tissue, it is derived from a Greek word meristos, which means divided, divisible. So group of identical cells which are in a continuous state of division. So this is only known as meristem or meristematic tissue. Unspecialized cells that can divide it indefinitely to produce new cells. Meristematic tissues are usually found at the apex of root and shoot. Meristematic tissues are divided into many types based on different criteria. Based on the location, meristematic tissues are of three different types: apical meristem, intergallery meristem, lateral meristem. So, what is a meristematic tissue? Group of identical cells which are in a continuous state of division. So, this is only known as meristematic tissue. Next, permanent tissue. Permanent tissues are formed from meristematic tissues. They do not divide and have permanent shape and size. So, permanent tissues are nothing but some of the meristematic cells stop its dividing nature and acquire certain changes to become a permanent tissue. So, permanent tissues are broadly classified into two types: simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue. So, what is simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue? Simple permanent tissue, here group of cells which are in similar origin, form and function. So, that is only known as simple permanent tissue. Now, what is complex permanent tissue? Group of dissimilar cells but perform a common function. That is called as complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue include parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissue include conductive tissues, xylem and phloem. So, in xylem we can see four different kind of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma. All are dissimilar in their structure but perform a common function, that is water conduction. Next type of complex permanent tissue is phloem. Phloem also include four different kind of cells: sieve elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, phloem fiber. All are dissimilar in their structure but perform a common function. It's nothing but food conduction. So, what is complex permanent tissue? Group of dissimilar cells perform a common function. That is only known as complex permanent tissue. So, plant tissues are broadly classified into two types: meristematic tissue, then permanent tissue. So far we discussed tissues. Tissues group to form tissue system. The plants exhibit varying degrees of organization. Cell is the basic unit of living organism. Cells group to form tissue. We discuss what are the different types of tissue in plants. Next level of organization in plant, it is tissue system. So, tissues group to form tissue system. Cells that work together to perform specific function make tissue. So, in plants, there are three different types of tissue system: dermal tissue system, ground tissue system, vascular tissue system. So, these are all the three different types of tissue system reported in plants by Sachs. So, how all the three tissue system grouped to form an organ, and what are the functions of all the three different types of tissue system. All these things we will discuss in the next session. So far we discussed what is cell, what is tissue, what are the different types of tissue. I hope you all understand what is tissue. Next level of organization, tissue system, that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.